Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Finally back in Houston after a long trip, including Dallas, Manhattan, Montreal. And if you don't know about the Manhattan trip, that's what today's video is about. On my way to Montreal, I decided to stop off in Manhattan for a night, not only to see Pete the Greek, who lives there, and it was his birthday the next day, so we went to dinner. I think I shared some, I'll put up some shorts of the dinner we had. Great time at this Vault restaurant, amazing. But one of the main reasons I stayed overnight there is Oz, with High End by Oz, said, hey, if you're ever in Manhattan, you've got to hear this system. It's the Viva Horns system and Viva Electronics. And in fact, I didn't even know it's two systems. And you know how much price per square foot is in Manhattan. For somebody to have two rooms with $1 million quality gear, this is probably, even considering Manhattan, I don't think anybody has a system like this on all of Manhattan. Two systems. One is going to be a man cave, purpose-built console type system, similar to the Vivas you heard at Capitol Audio Fest that I featured, but nowhere near as good as this. Purpose-built, near-field environment. This is showing you how to put a console-based system in a smaller environment, near-field. These things disappeared. You would not, don't be knee-jerk looking at that room and console-based. Trust me, guys, I was shocked as well. And then you're going to see one of the best family room environments I've ever heard with the 5-way Viva Horn system. Plus, a screen drops down, and they have home theater with it too. And the dynamics. We played a DVD that I know very well, Roger Waters' The Wall. Everybody that knows me well knows when I play my home theater, I spent a whole year tuning my system for that one DVD. And I was able to play it there. I'm not going to be able to share music clips from that. I will have a separate video with music clips. This is just going to be the walkthrough video, and I have two parts, the man cave system and then the family room system. But guys, that was incredible. The dynamics. I have never heard a family room system be quite as good as a dedicated home theater. But this was darn close, other than the fact that you don't get as much of the spatial cues with all the multi-channels. This was incredible. And so I love seeing things I've never heard before. Not a dedicated room. And when you live on Manhattan, of course, even if you're a multi-millionaire, this home is beautiful, probably in the tens of millions of dollars worth of home. You still have to make some accommodations for square footage. And this guy did it perfectly. And I am got a new appreciation for Viva Electronics and their horn system. Truly incredible. Not sounding like horns, and the imaging is among the best of any horns I've heard, if not better. So I wanted to do this video that walks through those two systems, and then another video I'm going to share with you some music clips so you can get a taste of it. So enjoy, guys. Alrighty, guys, I got a very special treat for you today. Something that's never been seen before, a home that's never been seen before. You may recognize this guy before. That's Oz and new friend Sergey. This is his home, beautiful place in Greenwich Village in Manhattan. And I was just blown away by a little taste of this system. More than meets the eye, but a lot meets the eye. Maybe you can go ahead and walk through. One of you guys can walk through. What the heck are we seeing here? This is amazing.
I'm going to leave the details to Sergey, but this is the Viva Credenza model. As the name suggests, I don't know if the viewers remember from your videos in Capitol Audio Fest, this is the speaker. But we had it as nuda, which means naked, which is basically without the credenza.
Right.
But the credenza's aim is to basically build the measures, and in between we have this rack system where you put your gear in. However, that obviously depends on the room sizes, the dimensions. It can be like this, it can be wider, it can be taller. It's all custom made. And the system, we can do drawers on the other side of it so that you can just basically make it wall-to-wall nuda.
Right.
The system here, Sergey, walk us through with the amplification and everything else.
Okay, so
And the speaker as well.
the system comes with a bass amp.
Yes.
We're just using a different chassis. This is not a standard that will look like this.
Yep.
Okay.
With a little light. So basically, it drives the subs which is part of the base module of the system. It's a 15-inch driver
Okay.
in a sealed box. It can be adjusted. This is the volume control, which I never touch. Because once you set it, it's
Right.
it's room specific.
It's
Then
dialed
how
in.
close you are
Right.
to the system. This system is pretty close to the listening.
Yeah, we have a near field listening environment.
So
Yeah.
in this particular configuration, I was restricted by the room size.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to have this system, but the way it works here is a little bit like a headphone system.
Right.
Because you're
Near
sitting very
field,
close,
yes.
the sound is very focused.
Mm-hmm.
If you sit further away, of course, the sound stage will develop in depth, and the images will become bigger. But that's the compromise. That,
Right, but you get incredible detail and sound staging in that near field, taking the room out of the equation. When you have a small room like this is a smart way to do it.
Yeah.
You're hearing more of the speaker than the room.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
This is kind of the ultimate man cave.
yeah. And look,
I sit here for hours with my dog. Of course, my wife is not happy about it. It's not healthy.
I mean, I could have sat
This
for
is
hours
my
listening
passion,
to that.
and,
Yes. Yeah, I want to showcase a few things. Number one, anybody prejudiced against these built-in type speakers, let me just tell you guys something. If you have a pair of JBL Paragons, which were built in from the vintage, you actually have one of the few speakers in high-end that go up in price and still have value. Don't be prejudiced against the built-ins because purpose-built like this. And the time alignment here, this is the mid-bass driver. Let's go into the
correct.
details
This is
here.
the
It's a very sophisticated system here. You got a sub, then you have the mid-bass driver, and then the mid-range here.
And then the
This is an acoustic filter. So basically, it filters out the. We use very gentle sloping crossovers to avoid the time shift and the phase distortion and blah blah blah. So this is basically an acoustic filter that filters out the mid-range frequencies that eventually seep into the mid-bass driver.
Okay, that's
So,
cool. Yeah.
This is all tuned on time aligned. Of course, the horns, the mid-range horn rotates
depending on
on the room and
Right.
where you sit and how you'll sound like to be. Because of course, the more toe in, the tighter the image gets, but
Right.
then you lose out on the width of the sound stage. This is the
Super tweeter
Super tweeter
with also the ability to
fine tune, time
align.
align, and everything.
Based on your
you
seating
can do it by
distance.
ear. You can do it with the instruments.
It's proprietary and made in house.
Yeah.
And it's all
So
brass.
yeah. So let's
the
go.
idea is to use the as few electronic components in the path of the signal that delivers the sound as possible.
Right.
Because every component introduces its own distortion,
Right.
and it's funny, but
Adhering to your
sometimes-
comments, I
Yeah.
want to show the viewers
Yes, this is-
remote control,
Yeah.
which comes with a manual. This is for up volume. This
Okay.
is for down volume. And
Yes.
as you can see,
we don't use digital remotes.
yeah,
It's purely analog. So
Okay.
basically, what this activates a little motor that rotates the
the volume control knob.
Yes.
the
yes.
pot.
Right,
rotates
right. Actual motor in there. That's cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was actually remarking about how cool aesthetically these switches are cool. But maybe you want to demo how this is the DAC. It's basically actually a dip switch kind of function toggle.
Yeah. So
It's,
this
it's
is
not
the,
a dial. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's not a dial.
So yeah, you just can change your and on and off. Yeah, so both for aesthetic purposes and for just badass. And these chassis are just beautiful. Many people know about Viva, especially in the headphone realm, because their headphones have become ubiquitous for high end and great performance. Oz has brought them back in the US. You're seeing them at shows now, which you haven't seen in a while, on the 2-channel side. And he brought this model here at Capitol Audio Fest. But this is definitely something that if people aren't familiar with, both from a tube electronics and speakers, you definitely want to start becoming familiar with, because not only can you customize it to your room, which is a lot, definitely for high-end purposes, that speaks high-end. But I'll tell you what, the performance I was just hearing, these were kind of the most un-horn sounding horns I've heard. Just sounded great. And, you know, first blush, people will make knee-jerk conclusions that, oh, how could it be built in a room like this? How can you get exceptional performance? Trust me, this was exceptional performance. The level of microdynamics, macrodynamics that this system can, and the detail it extracts with effortless low distortion, very impressive. So,
And we come and basically install it when you order one of these.
yes.
It needs first hand, hand from Viva to put the system together here or in your home.
Right, and that's another part of being true high-end. You get the manufacturers to come out there with you. Let's talk about, for people that are interested, do you have the model numbers handy for everything? Or
This is the numerical DAC
okay,
that we're using. That's driving the that's driving the mid-range and the higher frequencies. That's the Solista stereo power amplifier.
right,
And then you have the in a different chassis, the bass amplifier. But if you remember from Capital Audio Fest, you have two chassis like this.
this is what
That
the
was
chassis will
driving
come
the
in. Yeah,
driving the bass driver.
okay,
That is specifically tuned to the speaker. Therefore, you don't have to worry about any of the gains or any of the settings. It just basically comes with the speaker itself. And then we have the preamplifier Linear F. Linear F basically is going to be it's integrating the phono stage inside the two chassis
yeah,
together with the preamplifier at the bottom two levels there.
yeah, that's over here.
Yep.
Okay, and we're using a bassist turntable, beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah, so we've listened to both digital and LP, and it's been very impressive. But this isn't even the main system here.
No.
We've got an even bigger system I'm going to feature next. But talking about price point in general, what does this system run about?
The only optional part we have here is this rack system.
Okay,
So the rest of the system is $195,000. That includes the bass amplifiers.
okay,
So all you need is to basically have a stereo amplifier that drives the upper frequencies, and obviously a line stage. This can be customized to your needs, but we have to basically price it accordingly because
Sure.
we don't know what it's going to be. Whether it's going to be a narrow one or it's going to be even a wider one, we need to basically know the dimensions for that, and then we can basically customize the veneer finish of this as well to fit to your room perfectly. As you can see here, everything is just blended in.
yeah, it's like almost like purpose built, the whole place. And so this speaks to another level of high end people often forget about. Everything is just has a synergistic aesthetic, and it's beautiful looking and sounding. But let's go downstairs and showcase the even bigger system.
Okay.
Okay, as great as that system was, you can easily live with that forever. First of all, beautiful home in Manhattan. Ignore my one thing, my bag. That's my bag. But this is a 5-way horn system. This has never been seen before on camera, I think. In this
there
room.
were some shows, videos maybe from Asia, but nobody has really seen, especially what we're going to showcase here, which are going to be some new stuff
Yes.
that is coming out. But this is the master horn system. So it's a 5-way. This is the bass horn, mid-bass horn, the mid-range,
the tweeter horn,
tweeter horn,
And
the
super
super
tweeter.
tweeter, and then you have the bass, the
sub.
subs, over
Subs
there and
everywhere. Yeah.
over here. What is driving the system are these 4 amplifiers that comes with the system.
yes.
And these are in
Everything
prototype
comes with
form
the
right
system.
now? These are the prototypes right now?
Yes,
Okay.
and because the system was initially built and the new amplifiers are basically coming afterwards, in the trial periods you can see in the back.
The
some
power supplies are
power
separate.
supplies as well for the
Look at the
amplifiers.
size of those power supplies. Yeah. So these will be refined in final production models, but yes, you're in the testing phase right now.
It won't be. There will be just 4 chassis.
Four
It will be
chassis.
4 chassis.
Also, there are bass amps which are hidden in there.
In there?
that
Okay.
driving the subs.
Interesting.
2
Okay.
channels per side. One, I mean, they're identical. 1, 2, and they're 1, 2. So you have
1,
a
2.
15-inch sub and 18-inch sub.
So yeah, but it fits seamlessly in the room despite the immense size and 5-way because of what you guys do aesthetically. You can do custom finishes and veneers.
Oh yes,
Absolutely.
custom finishes
Absolutely.
and veneers are all included in the master horn system.
Excuse me. What were you telling me? The material?
This is a very expensive birch plywood,
Beach plywood.
beech plywood. Sorry. And then this is the veneer chosen for this house. Obviously, we can change it to your needs.
This is called Italian walnut.
Italian
In
walnut.
Italian, it's noce con letto.
Looks beautiful. Works perfectly in the home here, and 5-way time alignment. But you also can modify the super tweeter alignment.
Super tweeter alignment as well.
Yeah.
Needless to say, we come and install the system to your house.
Yeah. So
The
let's.
designer Amadeo will come out and basically time align
Time align.
everything and
Yes.
install it into your house.
So 2 things I wanted to talk about. We can talk about the price at the end, but you were telling me why I find this so unhorn sounding in terms of the honkiness that you were talking about. Maybe you can talk about a little bit, like what kind of stuff has gone into researching that level of the horn configuration.
Well, these are very complex curves that are being built using, 5-head CNC machines and stuff. So it takes a long time to get the curvature right, to polish it, then to prime it, then to paint it. The paint is also very special. So Amadeo believes that every little detail influences the sound, and he has very good ears. So
Yeah. So these horns are.
so there is a lot of
It's just not
engineering.
random. This is based on science as well as ear listening to craft this horn in such a way that I can vouch now firsthand in non-show conditions, which are tough. This is in a purpose-built home where it was set up properly, that it does not have that horn coloration that some people that have only had exposure to maybe clips or even avant-gardes at shows. You're not going to get an appreciation for what horns can do. And this is the type of environment where you really get an appreciation for why some people swear by them. And the performance you can get in many metrics can be better than anything. And I've featured a lot of great horns and can vouch for this type of technology for speakers is something that anybody looking for the best of the best should be considering. And again, when you can make it aesthetically fit in your room as beautiful as this.
The other thing that we should talk about is what we
The
use
tubes,
in
yeah.
tubes is 1 to 11 and 2 845 tubes.
Yeah.
And then over here you have the 845s.
They look similar, but there is like a tube set. Yeah, we have it on our website. So if anyone is interested in tubes, yes, we use.
And not to mention that for our viewers, as distributors, as Sergey knows, for every single product that I sell to my dealers, we have at least 3 sets of tubes in our inventory ready to go if something were to be happening to the tube. So
That's great to know. Yeah.
our customers are never left alone. Another thing that is very important for me to mention to the viewers that we have a service center here in the United States for Viva, authorized by Viva with Amadeo. So we service everything here in the United States. God forbid something happens, you have a surge. We haven't really seen anything, to be honest with you, but it's just if it happens, we're
Right.
here.
Being prepared. That's part of the high end.
This
is-
built like tanks.
Yeah.
Also, they're tested in-house, tested on the bench for at least a week. Everything is turned on, so they're kind of
high level of
partially
quality
burned in.
control. Yeah, that's
And it's
important.
point-to-point wiring. So,
Yeah.
I mean, overbuilt power supplies. It can take a reasonable amount of punishment unless people start experimenting with tubes which were not authorized by the manufacturer, because
Sure.
some people
Inevitably, somebody's going
some
to try that. but-
crazy stuff.
So you're
Well,
there.
I can tell you, we serviced a 14-year-old Aurora monoblocks from Costa Rica. An owner contacted one of my dealers in San Clemente, and he had the Aurora, and it was not working after 14 years. And he shipped it to us, to the United States, and we fixed it and shipped it back in 1 week. And we found out the problem is they're very, very similar to each other, the 211 and the 845. He actually put the 845
Gotcha.
in the 211 spot.
And he buried the
Transformer.
transformer.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
basically got the part from Italy with DHL Express, and then, like I said, in a week we turned it around. We're very efficient when it comes to that.
Usually this is what happens. You insert the wrong tube in the wrong socket.
Yeah.
Also, the sockets here are proprietary. If you can show these.
Zoom in.
Yeah, zoom in. This is not the usual push and twist for 845s and 211s. It creates almost perfect contact. Because usually that's the case. After a time with the push and twist, the springs get weaker.
Right.
And a little
Starts
oxidation, the contact gets not as strong, so it actually increases the resistance unevenly. So not only do you get the sound which is not as bright or not as vivid, you also get it kind of skewed to certain frequencies, usually less bass.
Yes.
Connection points are often overlooked. So yeah, even when you're connecting your tubes to the rest of the circuit, that's something you want to see. And like I said, for me, high end is not just cool gear, cool looks, cool performance. It is that quality control and having distributors that
360-degree experience.
yes,
And these are the chassis is the internal chassis and external is 100% copper.
You can see it here.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
all copper.
that's good that we have this prototype
this
so you
is-
can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for people that aren't familiar with Viva, maybe either of you can maybe share the pedigree. We're not talking about a new company out of the blue just doing this.
In audio world, it's one of the oldest companies. In audio world, they're founded in 1996, and they have been a constant improvement company. I should mention to our viewers. But with some of the new developments Amadeo is coming up, it's just taken to completely different levels. But for different aspects of the business, I think Sergey is the horse's mouth.
Okay.
So you should hear it from
Well,
Sergey.
it was founded. The Viva as a company was founded by Schembri brothers, Amadeo and Gianpietro. Amadeo is the driving force and the heart behind Viva, of course. He first of all he loves music and he loves the sound and he hates distortion and he hates coloration and he hates timid systems that you can listen to maybe a string quartet at
Right.
the medium volume levels,
Right.
but
Right.
if you want
Easy
to,
recordings, but
yeah, he likes Porcupine Tree, for example.
Okay.
And he likes to listen to it full blast.
Okay.
And he likes movies, and we use this system to watch movies.
Yeah, we're going to be showcasing. You
Yeah.
use this for a home theater too,
Without a center.
without a center channel.
Yeah.
So I'll have some music clips of that.
So we, our R&D budget is outsized in terms of the sales number. We constantly invest in new technology, so this is not vintage stuff which is just put into a new box, cool looking package. This is everything new. And about the tube, some people hesitate the tubes. Yes, there are some disadvantages. You need those big and heavy chassis, and you need transformers that can withstand 900 volts and everything. So Amadeo was the first one to say, if I could find a way to make the system sound better or just as good without the tubes, I would be the first one to quit. Because he's the one who's risking his life, with his voltages and
Right.
temperatures. But for now, this is
The best we can come up with.
the best we can come up with. And frankly, I have to yet hear something that sounds better.
And what are we talking about price-wise for this
The
system?
master horn system is including the amplification, including the veneer choice that you will have, is $825,000, including our installment,
Wow. Okay, that's amplification and all. Yeah.
except for the preamplifier.
Okay.
I think it's a very good deal, actually. If you consider,
Yeah.
a lot of people pay just for the speakers.
Right.
Another thing I should point out to our viewers with the low watts, and people are basically looking at watts. First of all, not all watts are created equal, but to give you an example, I was playing the Lancia 7.2 speakers with the Solista 22 watt Class A integrated amplifier at Florida and also the Southwest show, Dallas last weekend, where you were there as well. I mean, in a moderate to, for show purposes, moderate room, we were reaching 92 decibels at the volume knob, just slightly below 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
One of my dealers in Virginia is actually driving MBL 116 speakers in a 30 by 30 with a 20-foot ceiling room.
Wow.
And he's getting 92 decibels at 11 o'clock on the volume. So it's not about the watts, it's about how much current the amplifier drives to your speaker. Make no mistake, watts are not created equal.
Right. And yeah, we heard that at Dallas. And some other rooms didn't have the right amp for the speakers, and you can hear that. So I wanted to go to, real quick, this part of the room. Yes. This is something we didn't want to skip for sure. First of all, beautiful. We're not going to dip into probably Louis or whatever. But what do we have here? The basis.
Down at the bottom, that's the Verter turntable.
Verter, okay.
And down here is the new series that is coming up, which the amplifiers are also a part of. This is all brand new series called the Super Series at this point in time. This is nicknamed Super Series. This is the preamplifier with the outboard power supply.
Okay, so this has never really been seen before.
No.
Okay, cool.
And
You can see prototype, yeah.
that's the copper chassis, and the Super Series, the most important development of the Super Series is that the whole chassis is made out of pure copper.
Cool. And I've never seen this before. What
Verter.
cartridge?
This is, the stage one. Basically, it's
Totally decoupled. And then
Yeah.
what cartridge are you running?
this is Audio-Technica Art 1000.
Cool. It's beautiful. All right. As good as it looks, we got to listen. I'm so excited to hear this, especially based on what we just heard upstairs. So that'll be next, guys.